Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Now, normally I don't go live. Usually I pre-record and put the messages out just because, I have guests on or whatnot, and they might use profanity and such, and so I like to, edit that out or whatnot, or, hit the explicit button. But today, we want to deal with race in America, and I felt like going live on this particular topic because after the shooting that took place in California at the borderline bar and grill, same theme, place was semi-packed on a college Wednesday night that they go and celebrate. Some schools would mention, such as Pepperdine, and they'd gather at this bar and grill and enjoy themselves, dance, whatnot. Now, some guy, weirdo, comes in with a handgun, 45, and starts shooting. Now, how is this dealing with race? Well, simply because stereotypes. And are stereotypes fair? See, black people have been under stereotypes and different stereotypes since film first was aired to the general public back in the 1900s. As you know, they would put, white actors would do the blackface and create a stereotype of black people. And after that, black people start playing the stereotype that was created by white people. You'd have the black person, whether it was male or female, who would talk in broken speech, and white folk were, and I'm understanding this now, back in those times, they were saying that white people could accept black people better if they dummied down themselves. Then we would call them racist whites. Then they would actually feel comfortable around that black person, whether it's male or female. And I'm like, well, why couldn't they just be themselves? Why would you have to create a stereotype, of image, and you wanted black people to follow that image? As it was stated, they wouldn't let black people, actors, do theater or film unless they put on blackface. And a lot of blacks didn't like to do it, but hey, you wanted to get paid, you liked the industry, you'd put the blackface on, and you go out there and do your gig, or do your jig. You see what I'm saying? But then, during the outrage, the blackface was gone. But the system of blackface, the underlying character, a role, the makeup, the blackface makeup was gone, but the act was still there. You couldn't get on in Hollywood unless you played the mammy. You couldn't get on in Hollywood unless you were the butler. You still had to have the broken English. You had to dummy down yourself and act like, what? I didn't know that. If you actually wanted to get a role, because for some reason it was soothing to the racist. The white racist. That was soothing. And I would ask myself, why is that soothing? Because you're creating a psychosis within the culture or within the country. Because you creating an energy that's spreading where an individual can't be themselves to appease you. And that's sick within itself. Because the image had to be that no black person, whether it be whether you have one drop of black blood or hair dark as 1,000 midnights, you couldn't perceive yourself to be ahead of white people. So in order for them to feel comfortable, you had to dummy down yourself. And like I stated, that's actually a psychosis that will spread prevalent through society because it's a wave. It's like energy. It's like a bug. It's a fever pitch. You don't want to catch it. Allow people to be who they are. So in regards to that, now what you've created is a society of black people who are afraid to reach their full potential because they don't want the backlash or to be attacked. And then you created amongst white people a system of I have to be in a position to enforce these old rules because we built the foundation on that, and my self-esteem goes with me always appearing or seeming that I'm better than you. Regardless if if mathematics states that this black guy, right, solved a Drake equation, let's say, ahead of the white person, does that kill his self-esteem because he got beat by a black person? Or the fact that this man just might have studied harder than you? I mean, it's just that simple. But now it carries over in today's time. Because that start and that racist ideology created a phobia in this country to where you'll have, and as they stated in CBSN, that today the white nationalists, or what they call white supremacists, created more murders amongst Americans than any Middle Eastern terrorist group or anybody or any other race within this country. What's the anger? That's done out of anger, because when you hear the chants, you will not replace us. We're gonna take our country back. Why do you feel as though someone has your country? That goes back into the ideology that you were better than everybody on the planet. And since that's not the case, and it's obvious that everybody has strengths and weaknesses, some can't handle that, so they avert to mass shootings. And then they mask those mass shootings under the guise of mental illness. This person suffered from mental illness. Now, that's on the Caucasian side, the white side. Now, on the black side, but what is the suffering? I'm so tired of being beat down or not being able to express myself to the fullest because I might seem like I'm offending somebody white till I done bottled that energy up inside for so long till it exploded, and our hope is lost. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to play by another man's rules on what they consider or what they think that I should be or what I should become. You see it. You saw Malcolm X in different movies, and even today, you got a student going to school for engineering, and they say, "Well, I think you make a good teacher." It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Or the robocall for this election in Georgia with Stacey Abrams, and that computer robo call was going out acting like they were Oprah Winfrey. This is Oprah Winfrey, the magical Negro. Vote for my negress, Stacey Abrams, for governor of Georgia. Come on, man. 2018, really? And to see grown men that do things on that scale, you telling a lot about yourselves. You're not hurting black people. You're telling a lot about yourselves. Now, I see white people cringe when there's a mass shooting because they like, oh man, please don't let it be a white person. Please don't let it be a white person. They show the news, damn. It was a white male. Okay, well, we got to, well, he's crazy. He's mentally ill. Yeah, PTSD drove him crazy, hey, because we don't want to send the image out to the world that the white male is going crazy. And not saying that he is going crazy. I'm just simply saying most of the mass shootings in America is done by white males. Just like they'll show the statistics of most of the gang violence within the community is black on black crime. And they show the numbers up. Black people had shot more black people than in the Vietnam War. They blasted all over television, right? So, okay, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. White people are so murderous that they'll have 21 guns in their persons and just go out randomly and just start shooting whoever they can. You know what I mean? Post that narrative and flash it all on the TV screens. Is it a lie? Is it what? Now, with the president saying fake news, and then people coming out with crisis actors, now you saying that some of this stuff is staged. I was hearing them saying that the guy who went into yoga and shot people up in a yoga thing, that was staged. The guy that was sending the pipe bombs to the biggest critics of President Trump, that was staged. And now then what does that tell you? If you have to stage such horrific acts just to get a message across or to hide a message, now what does that say? What does that details? I mean, something's still wrong. You see what I'm saying? Something is still out of place because the tactics that are used to get a point across or to not get a point across or to have you looking one way while you over here doing something else, playing the old look over there and you look over there while they working something on the opposite end. That's old and played out. That's why you have people such as myself who will have a talk show to deal with important issues, so maybe we can find a silver lining to where it will bring unity amongst the collective body. Even though me personally, I think the stain is so set that all the races unifying. I mean, it might take a miracle, and the reason being is because that poison. You got to remember, white racists hated black folks so much. I mean, think about it, man. Think about it. You had to be a psychopath or psychotic to cut babies out of women's stomachs, man. Tie a man one end to a horse, the other end to a horse, run the horses in opposite directions and split the man in two, cut off the man's genitals, and come on, man. That's some sick stuff, bro. That's some sick, savage. I mean, just went too far. Ridiculous. There's always been indentured servants on the planet, but not to the degree of the brutality that was suffered. Then the funny part about it is, you will pregnate black women, i.e. Thomas Jefferson and Washington and whatnot, and then disclaim the child. But now today, black men would do the same thing, and you put them in jail for not paying child support. White folk ain't never paid for that mulatto child, that black child that they had from that black woman. It was that black man had to take care of that mulatto child, that from a white man. He still had to wind up taking care of the child. It wasn't even his. But yet and still, you lock black men up for not paying child support. And all these mulattoes running around here where you trace their ancestry, where the slave master was white and was impregnating these slaves. And goddamn, you don't give them nothing? Nothing? I mean, hey, it's amazing to me. I mean, the mindset of this society, it's amazing to me. Now, mass shootings, will they stop? Well, some people feel as though, because you have different levels or different areas of thinking when it comes to this mass shooting. Some will go like the guy who went into the black church in Kentucky. He couldn't get in. He was trying to do another Dillon rule. He couldn't get in the church, so he drives to the local Kroger's in Kentucky. Find two, a black man, black woman, just kills them. Because in his sick mind, he believes that he's fighting a war for his country. And everybody's like, first of all, man, why don't you ask the Native Americans first? They were here first. Okay. But okay, so you disregard them. So now you fighting for your country. You gonna shoot up black people because you feel as though there's no factual evidence showing where we have this country, where we took the country from you. So your ideology is not based on facts. It's based on a warped theory that probably was given to you by who? Was it your father, your grandparents? Was that poisonous mindset passed down through generations? Because it makes you look like an idiot because you're carrying out actions without actual facts. You emotional. You running around emotional. You need to be slapped in the face and have someone say, hey, get it together, man. Get it together. You going all emotional Rambo without hardcore facts. So it makes you look like an idiot. Now you're doing time for 2 murders based on a theory that you can't even prove and don't even have the facts to. What is that all about, man? I don't know. It's crazy. But look, this is Vero Pick Radio, and I'm your host, Cole Black, COLBLAC. That was the state of the universe. It's not a name, it's the essence. It's the state of the universe when the Creator created himself. Before he put the sun in the sky, it was cold and it was black. Now, one thing before we get out of here. Religious ideologies are dangerous too. For the Mormons to believe that black people are a curse of Cain, and if any white person have 1 ounce of black, any baby have 1 ounce of black blood in them, they should be put to death. Sick, sick, sick. Anybody believe that black people are black because they are a curse of Ham? Sick, I mean wrong. That is absolutely. You know why black people are black? When the Creator created himself, there was no sun out in the sky yet, so there were no colors. There was no rainbows or reflections. It was just dark matter. Black, 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 black. That was it. That was the only color. So when God said he created man in his image, at the time the only image was black. There was no other color. The moon wasn't even up there in the sky to even perceive to get the white from. It was just darkness. So that's all he had. And then from that darkness, when that sun came out, then you had the different colors that would precede. Reflection. If you can even look at a sun ray. Sun rays, you can see the red, the blue, the yellow, all within that sun rays. That gives color. Then different plants start giving off a substance, ink-like substance of different colors. You see the different indigenous people wear those colors on their faces. But prior to that, in the beginning, it was just darkness. So if he's going to shape and create himself and create flesh, the only color at the time before the sun was made, before the moon was made, when atoms, protons, and neutrons traveling in dark matter or universal space, that was the only color to create from. Everything comes out of darkness. Babies in the womb comes out of darkness into light. Now, if you would, we're getting ready to launch Check out Everyday People, the movie. Go to YouTube, type in Everyday People, the movie, and sit back and watch the episode we put together. It's very interesting. We're working on our 4th episode. It goes up part 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you check that out. Get ready for the clothing line. EDP coming at you soon. Much love to the staff and everybody who participated. I got to give them a shout out. Much love to Spreaker. This is the show Verbal Pick Radio. Brother Jamal, Low Key Pebbles, Marcus Mudd, A-Tone Production. Definitely it's going on. And we'll see you next time. I'll try to do more live shows. It's just that sometimes I don't know, when I let go and it's out there. You know what I mean? And it comes from the heart, but no pun intended. I'm not here to upset anyone. I'm just here to lay a base for the truth, and or just lay the base and you decide. You pick from it and choose. You know, it's a gumbo. You want some gonna get the red snapper out of there, get the fish. Some gonna get the beef sausages out of it. Some gonna pull whatever rice or whatever. I don't know what you like. That's you. But at least the pot is on the stove and the table is set. You can pick and choose what you want to eat. But the food is cooked. Verbal Pick Radio. We're out.